This is Meet the Spy RPG, a choose-your-own-adventure game based on, you guessed it, the Catholic Reformation. In this game, you play as the Red Spy infiltrating Blue Base in search for their secret intelligence. Now, if you don't know how a choose-your-own-adventure game works, then I'm gonna recommend you just sit down and think about that title for a little bit and kind of just work your way up from there. The first choose-your-own-adventure game was actually a book, which of course means that it was lame, but eventually people figured out that video games are more fun, and thus, the choose-your-own-adventure video game was born. Now, all jokes and jests aside, the choose-your-own-adventure books were revolutionary and look really fun. I've even considered learning how to read just so I can play one someday. Now, it is called a choose-your-own-adventure game, but it's really more like an interactive comic book. If making decisions to try to achieve a specific goal is all that makes something a game, then that means coin flips, making dinner, and Overwatch are all games, and that's just not a world I want to live in. I mean, if you think about it, real life is kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure game, you know? Should I get dressed or should I feed my dog? Decision fatigue much? My first designs for how the UI should look were 2D, but I decided to scrap that approach and give it this 3D interface. I wanted to put players into the atmosphere of playing an early choose-your-own-adventure game during the late 80s. I even made a TF2 cover song and sound effects to try and capture that nostalgic feel. Now, I can't show you much gameplay of Meet the Spy RPG because the whole point is for you to play it and discover the different paths as you go, so I really don't want to spoil anything. But I can tell you a bit about how the game works. If we turn this computer around, you'll notice a few digigoblins power mining the data frame, which of course is used to extract JPEGamite, the primary material found in the image display. Along with the digigoblins, there are dozens of Unity files I call scenarios, which are uniquely loaded every time the player makes a decision. The first scenario, for example, contains the image to display, the console text, and 2 more scenarios to be loaded based on what decision the player makes. Because each scenario contains 2 scenarios, and each of those scenarios also contain 2 scenarios, and so on, what starts as a single choice quickly turns into a massive interconnected decision web of scenarios. And that web is then used to catch all kinds of bugs, like spiders, gnats, flies, and so on. If you ever hear someone talking about debugging, this is what they're referring to. Now that you have an understanding of how the program works, I can finally tell you why I made this. It all started when my friend, Oris, invited me onto his channel for a collab. I put friend in quotes here because one time I was looking at Oris's Steam profile and there was this hidden link that said coolest person ever, and so out of curiosity, of course, I clicked the link, and to my amazement, it's a link to my profile. Suffice to say, I felt like a special little boy. I was walking on air, but a week later I was talking to him and he tells me that all this link does is send the person who clicked it back to their own profile. Turns out, I was never a special little boy. I was in shambles, kind of like Oris's country was for the last 250 years ever since it lost its best colony. I guess some people never learn. But anyways, as I was saying, the reason I made Meet the Spy RPG is because Oris invited me to collab with him and some other YouTubers. The idea was to use video editing to ruin Meet the Spy in some kind of creative or funny way.
Nice to meet you.
It was during this collab that I came up with the idea for turning the video into a parody choose-your-own-adventure game. People thought the idea was kinda cool, so I figured, hey, why not try this thing for real? So here it is, Meet the Spy RPG. If you want to watch me and a bunch of other YouTubers make Meet the Spy parody videos, you can see that right here. Or if you want to play the game for yourself, just click the first link in the description. And if you don't want to do either of those things, just walk away. Just walk away, man. I swear to God. I'm not fucking playing around here, dude. Just walk away.